that should work now. Okay, so, for those that don't know, I replaced my motherboard like a week ago. And I had some technical problems right before this, and apparently this decided that it was just not going to recognize the fact that I have the studio mic plugged in as a thing. So with that, we'll break into the intro again, take two style. Welcome everybody to the NWO show, your source for everything New World, as well as apparently some new stuff. We're gonna take the day and we're gonna talk about New World. We're gonna talk about Lost Ark, and we're gonna talk about Amazon Game Studios, and then we're gonna break away from all of that, and we're also gonna talk about Amazon as a whole, because what is coming up in the next 2 days is Amazon Prime Day. Which is a massive sale. So for anybody who keeps up to date like super closely with New World, this is going to be kind of a recap on the week. There's not any major updates that are new today, but we do have some updates that if you haven't seen them, we got a number of videos that we're going to play, starting with Legends of New World Chapter 1. Which came out earlier this week, and we'll quick play that one. Nice. Okay, so again, more technical issues. Apparently the straight up desktop audio that is definitely set for the record as in its properties to be just the raw desktop audio is apparently just not a thing. So there's that. So we're gonna go take two on that. And yeah.
Eternum waits beyond every horizon and calls adventurers from across the world and ages. They come, and among the ruins of the ancients, they find secrets, the magic and mysteries of the past. In this harsh new world, many fall. But the strongest and bravest may reach out and seize eternity.
I love the art style.
It's pretty cool.
I'm really pumped and looking forward to the next one. Obviously this is chapter 1, and that means that there's gonna be more. So. Yeah. I'm of course always pumped when it comes to new stuff for New World. We also got a continuation on the series of Touring Eternum, which I think is another great video. You know, there's a couple people that were like,
which ones have we gone through?
What's that?
Which one? I'm just wondering, like, which ones have we gone through so far?
So we did the for the different regions. We did, and I can find the channel for them. The new one is for Eden Grove. The one before that is Reekwater, Morningdale, and Windsward. And they appear to be releasing these every Friday. So if people are trying to keep their eye out for them, trying to beat me to posting it to the Reddit, you know, they post them Friday, generally midday Eastern time, roughly around noon. They appear to have them timed almost exactly at noon, if that helps.
That's PST, right?
That's Eastern time.
Okay.
That lines up with like 8 or 9 in the morning PST, which makes sense because they're just getting into the office and they can monitor it throughout the day and all that. So, I love the art style of this game, but like the art style of that previous video, I'm huge. Like the somewhat like steel nature of everything, or like the aged steel look
Yeah, it does look
to
pretty
all the
awesome.
characters was just cool.
Mm.
If there's one thing that no one will complain about, it is the art and sound design of New World.
Yeah.
I just don't see people ever complaining about those two things. You know, there will always be people who complain, you know, one way or the other, you know, about mechanics or anything like that. But you know, the almost unanimous thing is that when you take out an axe and hit a tree with it, you're like, that is a satisfying sound. And you know, you look at you know, just the nature in the game. You know, this is beautiful. You know, and this isn't you know, this isn't an out of game render or anything. This is in engine. This is what you would see walking around. They're just taking the advanced camera tool and setting it in different places. But let's go through
Beyond
this.
the relentless rain of Morningdale and the pervasive stench of reek water, the bright open spaces and fantastical colors of Eden Grove should be a welcome breath of fresh air. But these northern reaches are also the most hostile regions of Eternum, and only the most experienced explorers should consider venturing here.
I.e., this is a late game region, so you're not going to want to go here until you're level
While there
50,
are two
60
small outposts
range.
available to brave adventurers, this region of Eternum remains mostly unsettled. To the south, you'll find Valor Hold, where Prospector Delgado will direct combatants to Outpost Rush. A treacherous walk along a twisting road high in the mountains will take you to Last Stand Outpost. Once there, Innkeeper Golding always has a warm bed ready for any weary traveler. As you adventure through Eden Grove, you're likely to be drawn to the Tower of Malevolence near the center of the region. This enormous, imposing structure is protected from all sides by dryads, and you'll need to keep your wits about you when fighting them off, lest you fall from the stone
That is an
walkways
elemental
to
bear
your
in the
untimely
background.
demise. Venture to the forest below, and among the fascinating fauna and twisting trees, you'll find the Garden of Genesis, the very heart of the Angry Earth's territory. The dryads here aren't
So this is,
particularly hospitable, and
this
you'll
is an
need
expedition.
a strong, experienced adventuring
The
party
Garden
by
of
your
Genesis
side,
is one of
and
the
more than a few
expeditions.
blight tinctures in your bag before you
Up
even
to
think
5
about
people
entering.
can enter at one time.
Those who
you know,
plan
it's
to press
instant,
further
so
into the
many
north
groups can
will
run
need
at
to
the same
cross
time.
through Preservation Pass, a truly incredible feat of stonework high in the mountains. The path to this point is fraught with danger, and you may want to make camp at the base of its stairs to gather yourself before you attempt the climb.
That's something that people need to get used to
The
in
dryads
general.
aren't
setting
the
up
only
camps.
creatures you'll face down in Eden Grove. The blight is spreading throughout the land, and you're sure
Elemental
to come
bears.
across infected, angry earth creatures in your travels here. If the blight doesn't get you, vicious creatures like bears, lions, and alligators certainly will. But for all its deadly creatures, Eden
And
Grove
the blight
is
will
one
get
of the
you.
most eye-catching
Yes.
At some
regions in
point.
all of Eternum.
Yes.
Tall, white, bespeckled trees with vibrant red leaves fill the north of the territory, and the deep forests to the west sparkle with greens and blues unlike anything else you'll see. So, while Eden Grove may be a tough territory to survive in, it's little wonder explorers are pushing further into it. The local plant life has to be seen to be believed, and it's home to truly astounding ancient stonework that scholars will ponder over for years to come. Keep your armor repaired and your blades sharp, and you'll find Eden Grove has plenty to offer.
I like the way that they do these things in a very documentary or nature documentary style. You know what I mean? Or like a travel
Yeah.
documentary style.
It's very
thing.
like David Attenborough, like, you know,
Yeah.
like you could almost hear the same kind of like nature. Yeah, I totally get that. Nature documentary style.
And here we see the dryads in their natural habitat. Yeah.
think it'd be funny if they took one of them and went with the Steve Irwin version. You know, crocodile over here. You know, see what happens when we go poke him.
Yeah. You don't want to see one of these when they're angry. So let's go poke them with. I'm going to go poke them with a stick.
Yeah. So naturally, like, I'm gonna have this play in the background on here, but naturally, there's a lot here. There's a lot to show. There's the game has obviously progressed. It's obviously added more into it. You know, we're closing in on the launch, which takes us to, you know, what other things are happening out there. You know, Amazon Game Studio is obviously expanding. They've started up a new studio in Montreal, taking in a portion of the team that's working on, or that formerly worked on Rainbow Six Siege. So we have reasonable hopes that they're going to do some kind of shooter.
Yeah.
We don't know, you know, what that might mean for. We don't know what that might come into, but hopefully that turns into something, and hopefully it's better than Crucible was.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one for sure.
Yeah.
I think Crucible is one of those sort of like lessons learned sort of things.
Yes.
There was a lot of kind of like I've been watching a series kind of lately called Death of the Game, and they did do a Crucible one, but it's by a guy called Nerd Slayer, or Nerd Slayer Studios anyway. But he made reference to a few previous dead games. Essentially, people, you know, it seems like the same sort of lessons end up getting learned by other studios. So it's just one of these. It's kind of like a rite of passage almost, to some degree, when it comes to new game studios.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's they're definitely they definitely learned something from Crucible. They learned that what they had wasn't hitting the mark, and they also learned that when you miss the mark by that much, that cutting your losses and moving on to something else is better than trying to fix it. Which I think is a bitter pill to swallow, but at the same time, it's good resource-wise, because many of the people that were working on Crucible, you know, now work on New World. As we now know, the New World team is now over 200 people, which is a massive team as far as MMOs go. Which also means that we can expect them to hold those people for quite a while. And I think that we've got a lot of opportunity there. Now, Amazon Game Studio as a whole is also expanding certain teams, and you know, they're not just sticking with what they have; they're growing. And when I say they're growing, I recently was made aware of a position. For those that wonder, no, I'm not applying for it. Because I get hit with this all the time.
About things, yeah.
But I was made aware of it. And instead of it started playing, we're gonna talk about some of Amazon's postings here. They've got a ton of different jobs opening up. All of these are Amazon Games, Amazon Game Tech. Some of them are not necessarily Amazon Games themselves, so Solution Architect, not necessarily Amazon Games, but I'm trying to find a very specific one because I want to make mention of it.
Okay.
AWS Gaming and Twitch.
What was it specifically?
The position itself is the influencer liaison or influencer manager. saw it on Twitter the other day.
She
Probably find it faster
creative
there.
strategist. Probably.
Then I know the guy who posted it.
Yeah.
There we go. Creator Relations Coordinator. So this is an Amazon Games position. It's a position that fundamentally would be working with influencers, and literally building out, strategies for engaging with influencers, engaging with content creators, large and small. Which I firmly believe that they're one of the best companies to do this so far. When it comes to engaging small, independent groups like ourselves, like the fact that we got invited to events like the Expedition event, is almost unheard of. You don't generally get, small end streamers with 500 follows to get that kind of following, or that kind of opportunity. But the things that they're looking for in their creator program is effectively people who care about the program, care about the game, care about building community, and fundamentally speaking, I think there's a lot of great opportunity there. So I wanted to highlight that this position is out there in case there's any content creators or anything like that are looking for, potentially, you have the experience here. This would be a really cool gig to have, and of course, the team that this would be working with, is the community management team on New World, on Lost Ark, on all of the different projects that AWS is running. So it really would be a beneficial thing to get somebody highly skilled in there. I'm looking forward to see who they bring in.
Because at the end of the day, like you have to kind of think of Amazon Games just not as a developer, but also as a publisher as well. So
yes. Which as a publisher brings us over to Lost Ark. As a topic in general here, Lost Ark kind of came out of nowhere. It was launched in Korea, Russia, and one other place, like just obscure locations, and it was localized to those locations, and it was never launched for the English market. Well, here's the thing. It wasn't designed for the English market from scratch. It was designed to be an Eastern MMO, which means there's a lot of microtransactions that were in the base version of the game. We don't know what that's going to look like when it launches. I'm curious to see what it is. I had the opportunity to play it. I think it's great, but I still have questions. I have a lot of questions, just like I have for New World. Even after 3,000 hours playing New World, I've still got questions. And that's the inevitability when it comes to a lot of these games, is that we really won't know until they come out. So moving past this, obviously this being a position that would most likely work with not just New World but also Lost Ark. This creates a lot of opportunity. The more people that they have on their team looking into things like influencer relations or creator relations type positions, the better. That means that they're really going to be engaged with the community. We saw the leak, or not the leak. Leak is an understatement here. It was on their. Let me find the picture here.
Diving a little bit into Lost Ark and that kind of thing. I don't think it's something that you actually realized or noticed in terms of Google searches, but Lost Ark. If you don't know, Lost Ark actually won 6 awards at the 2019 Korea Game Awards.
Oh, very nice.
Including including the I'm not entirely certain what these prizes particularly are. Like there's a presidential prize that doesn't exactly say anything. Like the name of it doesn't exactly say anything as to what that prize actually is. Technology and creativity prize, but they also did win the grand prize apparently at the 2019 Korea Game Awards, which is, I imagine it's probably like, Game of the Year or something.
Yeah.
For Korea.
You
And you got things like BDO, like against that.
Yes.
That sort of thing. So you have to understand that as well.
So to give people an idea, now this isn't any kind of leak because as we stated, Lost Ark is kind of in an awkward spot right now because it's a released game. So there's 2 years worth of gameplay video already out there. And we're just gonna take a look at what this actually looks like. This is a 16-person legendary raid. I apologize that a large portion of the text and content in here is going to be in Korean. But effectively, this is an MMO version of Diablo. Is the best way to describe this. With epic raids like this, this is literally a 16-person raid.
You kind of gave me reminds me a little bit about Albion.
I'm gonna turn the sound of this down because you're on the same slider as there we go.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna turn you up slightly. So,
it does have it does have a lot of WoW vibes as well to it.
yes, it's got a lot of WoW vibes. It's got a lot of Diablo, like dungeon crawler type vibes. But it's also got this more classic feel to it. Fundamentally, this is what we should expect. I think that as a game, it is really good, and I think playing it like super low resolution. The game itself is obviously, more obviously very Eastern influenced, from the character design to just kind of how it plays. But there's apparently aiming to be differences in between the released version for Korea and the released version for the English market. We don't know what those changes are all going to entail. But we can make some assumptions that there are certain things that are considered okay in the Eastern market in Korea.
Yeah.
For microtransactions being very prevalent, and then you have things like the US spending that much in microtransactions just isn't a thing, and I'm sure that they're aware of that. I'm sure that they will make a lot of those changes, and we'll find out.
Yeah,
it'll certainly be an interesting change, or interesting thing to watch.
I wonder though. I wonder if somebody in, like, say, Korea would be able to play the English version and the Korean version, because I'm feeling like if there's going to be, I don't think there's going to be like fundamental changes to the core of the gameplay or how the game plays or this, that, and the other. But like there will obviously be certain changes to sort of for localization and all that kind of stuff, right? But I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be any kind of degree of crossplay with people who have the original version, who play in Korea, and whether they can play with somebody who has the the Western or European version, whatever they fancy calling it.
That'd be interesting.
Because I kind of feel like you might not be able to. But the other kind of thing that I was thinking of is, it will be a good precursor and sort of litmus test for how Amazon in general, or Amazon Games in general, kind of looks at microtransactions.
Oh.
Yeah.
And hope they take a look at this from that perspective and really iron into the appropriate way to do these things, and what the market will actually bear. Obviously, like McLeod and I come at this from the perspective of like, they're a business, they're gonna try and make money, but like they're also not a dumb business. They have a tendency to listen to what the community says, and if the overwhelming majority of the community is saying something, then it's worth them turning around and saying, yeah, we should probably go that route. And I think in a game like this, they know where the line should be, and especially because they're the same people that are working on New World are making a lot of these decisions for like how this is going to get monetized. They know what just happened with that, and they're probably going to make some changes.
Yeah, the important thing that the important thing that kind of gives us kind of a bit of pause for hope, let's put it that way, is that they clearly know that the current Korean monetization model that they have in the game at the moment, it isn't gonna fly in America and in Europe. So clearly, at least clearly they know that, like, right from the get-go, which is, that's, to me, that's a positive, because if they didn't know that, then they would probably be, there would be, there would be kind of issues, like, right from the start.
Oh yeah. So I think the other interesting thing here is that they announced this at Summer Games Fest. They didn't, like, prior to that, there was no information. It was just, a sudden shock and awe, hey, this is a thing. And it was a surprise to everyone. And it's a welcome surprise, because for people who played Diablo, the latest version was not exactly what people wanted. If I remember right, the latest version was the mobile version, which went over like a brick through the window. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, was that the one where they introduced it, going like, you all have like phones, right, on stage?
Don't you guys have phones? Like,
and I was just there face palming, going, Jesus Christ, really? You doing this?
Yeah.
Because I think that was also after the sort of like, oh yeah, we're gonna reboot Command and Conquer, and it was like some weird mobile game, and I was just like, oh Jesus, really?
Yeah.
I kind of remember that. That was tragically bad.
That was very bad. It was almost as bad as the CCP please clap moment.
That's less well known.
That one's less known, but that one's pretty cringy.
Yeah.
Worth the Google if you haven't seen it.
And that wasn't just like an auto cue thing. That wasn't just like someone's reading off an auto cue kind of thing. That was oh, please clap, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Anyway.
That was just it was very awkward. So yeah, that was the thing.
But the
I'm looking
gameplay kind of
forward
looks
to
like,
this.
yeah, the gameplay looks to be like heavily effects based.
Yes. It is definitely not something that you're going to want to play if you have any kind of photosensitivity. Although I believe they actually do have a mode for photosensitive, that isn't as flashy.
Okay. It's actually quite nice to know. Degree of inclusiveness.
Absolutely. It's always good to have a little bit of disability inclusion, and it's not even like a disability.
It's just about accessibility, really.
Yeah, accessibility.
About accessibility, and it's about accessibility and sort of a degree of enjoyment in the game. Like you're not going to be playing the game, for a long period of time, or for long, if like it's constantly punching you in the dick.
Absolutely. I think in terms of like scratching the itch for a lot of people, like obviously we're all looking for an MMO to play. I firmly think that New World is going to be a great MMO. I think that we're all going to enjoy it. I think that we've got a lot of opportunities as well with games like Lost Ark here, and games like the other one that
interestingly, like
away.
yeah, he did just like fly away. Interestingly, I mean, I don't know whether New World's going to have cutscenes and stuff like that. Like, it's. I mean, obviously, we've seen with the preview that like it has its own brand of sort of like kind of quasi cutscene sort of thing, but it's very much in-game rather than in-game rendering. Some various different stylings, but you can kind of play New World to some degree a little bit like this. Like you just have to zoom right the way out with the the zoom functionality, and you can kind of play it in this sort of styling. But honestly, I actually quite like zooming right in with and getting like the visceral feel of like fighting in New World.
Oh yeah.
Because it gets pretty intense. It can get really intense.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's a very pretty game too. Like, and this game's not bad looking by any stretch, but like I think New World just has the art that I'm more of a fan of. They're taking it a lot more of the fantasy elements that I think are going to attract a lot more people.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, what you're kind of seeing here is obviously a multi-area, multi-level boss, right? Like, you're having to travel to various different like battlegrounds in order to fight this thing, past various different levels.
We also have an announcement from Twitch because it just pinged me. We have officially streamed for 250 hours.
Ah, that's quite nice. I mean, considering that we don't really stream Let's Play videos for like, 8 hours, 9 hours at a time, that's actually pretty decent.
That means there's 2 hours or 250 hours out there of us just sitting talking to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
don't know how I feel about that.
I feel that there's a lot of stuff there that people can take out of context, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's right. It's alright. I've already been quoted in news articles apparently, which scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I made the news back when I was in Eve, and I was not a fan of that.
Yeah.
That was an experience and a half.
Yeah. And experiencing how doing good still, apparently nets you enemies in some way, shape, or form. Who would have thought it? Being a genuinely nice dude and doing a nice thing for a whole bunch of people.
Funny thing is, I really didn't do that much.
No, but
I don't want to go into it too much on stream here, but like,
yeah.
You know, I really didn't do much to do it, and it was
the
hop,
point.
skip, and a jump from certain things to.
Yeah, the point that I was trying to make there, Ace, was the fact that you could do selfless good deeds, and still there is some people out there that are that much that are so inclined as to not like you because of it for some stupid reason, and that's weird. I find that endlessly confusing.
The capacity for people on the internet to hate people,
The assholes,
for long amounts of time, for no real good reason, is actually quite alarming. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm one of the Reddit mods over on r-new world game, and like, there are people that just hate me, being totally honest. Why?
But I don't
Just
think that's
because I'm a
particularly
mod.
because of you. Yeah, I mean that's just because you're a mod. Like, you have power that they don't.
Which I think is comical because, like, if anybody thinks that being a Reddit mod is powerful, like, another thing for you. Like, I got swampland in Florida to sell you, because, it ain't... it ain't fun. It, like... There are more than enough times where you sit there as a Reddit mod and you're like, why do I do this again? Why is this fun? Is this like,
why was I roped into this?
Like, why did I offer to do this? Like, like what was I thinking? Type thing. Because it's really not, there's not a ton to it. And effectively, it's really just based around filtering out just the terrible crap that goes on when you have people anonymously hiding behind a keyboard. And like, it is quite comical. And like, a lot of people will complain as well, like, oh, how can a content creator also run a Reddit mod? Like, it's real easy. Like, you don't break the site's rules for self-promotion and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Like, and to clarify, like, for the people that don't seem to understand this and report everything as self-promotion, like, what I mean by self-promotion is that on Reddit the official rule is 1 in 10. So out of every 10 posts you have, one of them can be, hey, here's the content that I made. But effectively what that's designed to do is to get you to, talk with the community, engage with the community, and do stuff. Not just, hey, here's my stuff for everybody to view because, I feel like it and I don't want to share my, I just want the views off of it. I don't actually want to participate in the conversation. And the funny part is, of the people that participate in the discussions, like Dene and Studio Loot with Redbird and Bulldog, like, they both all three of those guys participate in the conversation. You know, they don't just post the stuff; they actually talk to people and engage with them, which is really what we're looking for. And it actually works out better because the more you get people talking about it, the more people are actually going to look at the content and all that. So in a funny way, it's actually better to not promote as the only thing. Like, better to just like put your stuff out there, sure, but like also participate in all the other discussions so that people see your opinions and then are drawn to your content because they agree with you, not because
that you clearly have like something, you clearly have a perspective that has some kind of notable worth.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just some asshole that's hating in the world.
Yeah. A good example of this is how every comment that comes up about certain YouTubers now comes up as a negative, and consistently gets downvoted by the community because they just have a really bad reputation for just being there to stir up shit.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunate.
It's a classic thing. It's a classic thing trying to manufacture like a content creator drama.
Yeah.
Especially when there isn't content creator drama, because a lot of content creators like there's don't see any long-term benefit to creating drama. It just ends up creating more hassle as well.
Exactly. And it's like just understanding like how things work and like what's comical is that when it comes to between channels, there's rules. Like Twitch is pretty adamant about content creators keeping off each other's backs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But at the same time, they're also very very much they won't touch things like people generating controversy around a game, because like there's entire channels that are generated off of that, which I think is just it's the lowest form of journalism. And the reason that tabloids are successful is that people enjoy reading about controversy. They don't. The challenge with them is more often than not is that they're just not true, and this leads to other issues, misinformation, and all kinds of stuff like that, which has been a consistent fight. Like getting people the correct information used to be, paramount for media types. Now, people have determined that it's more about developing.
The thing is, it's a lot of those sort of drama-based channels are a lot of the channels who derive their content based on controversy. They're always trying to push the controversy. They're always trying to push the envelope on that one, right? Yeah. And the thing is, like, the only direction that is to go more and more extreme. And at some point when you're going that direction, you're going to cross lines without realizing that you're crossing lines, because it's one of those things you only really know if you've crossed the line, like, or if someone's crossed the line, if you have a good perspective on where the line is drawn, right? Mm-hmm. And if all you're doing is controversial stuff and talking about the extremes and using examples and taking some examples to the extreme, you don't have that reference point to know where the line is. And these kind of channels, they cross this line without realizing it, and then they feel, and then once a hammer comes down from the site owners or from the platform owners, right? They feel like they've been unjustly sort of disciplined. And that's just not the case. It's because they don't have the perspective, because all they do is talk about controversy. All they do is talk about the extremes. That's the thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's, you know, it's so much easier, like, you know, I mean, just mention this, like, we hit 250 hours. We're not, Cloud and I, generally speaking, won't talk about something unless we enjoy it. We're not the types
Unless we feel like we need.
Yeah.
Either we enjoy it or we feel it needs to be said.
Yeah. You know, we're not out there for the controversy. We're out there for, you know, sharing something that we're obviously passionate about. And if we weren't passionate about it, then why would we be here? You know, fundamentally speaking, it wouldn't make any sense. So, you know, sure, we also come across like we'd never have any problems, but it's also very different, because it's not that we're aiming to say there's no issue. It's that the way that we talk about problems is different than how people generally talk about them. Like, you go to Reddit, and in some cases people will just shit on things because, well, you know, how dare you be passionate about anything? Well, unless you're, you know, uber depressed about the world, you know, they're generally gonna just, you know, complain that you're happy and they're not. Is the sad part of that. But, you know, it's different. It's very, we come across in a constructive way, where when we talk about issues, we talk about issues from the perspective of, I really hope that they change this, or I really hope that that they listen to what people say and that they do something about this. You know, that's a very different perspective than people that just turn around and just shit on things for the sake of shitting on them.
Yeah.
And, like, I would argue that that's also a reason that we're listened to in a lot of cases, is that we have kind of that mentality around not just how to fix something, but, you know, a calm, reasonable measure of why we should fix something. Or, you know...
Yeah, it's part and parcel of good feedback. It's not just saying something shit. It's telling people, like, it's telling the reason why you feel that is bad, why that is bad, not just from your perspective, but from other people's perspective. Maybe from, you know, from you know, how something affects a game negatively, not just from your gameplay, but from other people's gameplay. But also saying, like, how it could be rectified, like how you feel like it can be resolved to lead to a better scenario, better situation. That's all part and parcel of actual good feedback, rather than just saying, "Oh, game is crap," which is literally or practically verbatim what I've seen other people, like other people's feedback about New World. It's been like, "Oh, game is trash."
Yeah. Game's
Like
trash.
that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, like it's hilarious, because it's like, one, it gives no way for the developer to understand what your problem was.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they might be able to deconstruct it by looking back what made you potentially, you know, rage about it. But, like, their time is limited, you know, in general anyway. Like, you know, help them out, like, meet them halfway.
Individual responses. They're going to look at the collated responses from many people on a topic. You know, like, for instance, going from Alpha 1 to Alpha 2 for New World, you know, they very clearly took into account that there was a massive attrition problem, and that many many people, and we estimated this in another episode, somewhere in the ballpark of 40 to 60,000 people were likely involved in Alpha 1. And adding some perspective to that number, Alpha 1, at the end of it, a lot of the people who would criticize the direction would state that, oh, well, everybody in the Alpha knew everybody. The reason for that is that the remainder of the people who were left in the Alpha all knew each other because it was so small. It wasn't because it was a large community, it was because almost nobody left.
I mean, that's not just like, you know, that's not just alpha player kind of burnout. There was a degree of like active pressure to push people away.
Yeah.
I can't really go that much into that any further than that, but like, yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. So then you see, you know, Alpha 2, and you know the delay for COVID, which I'm sure was actually in earnest. I think it was a legitimate, they were looking at New World and going, hey, you know, we've got a team, we're trying to figure out how to do all this stuff remotely. We don't really know how that's going to work. You know, we need a couple more months. So they delayed.
Yeah, and many game companies did exactly that. Like, you know, a lot of well-known game companies did exactly that. Like, you know, they had issues with, you know, changing how they developed, what their development strategy was like, you know, in that period. You know, those sort of development changes in terms of workflow, in terms of, you know, just tools that are available to them, because a lot of people, you know, don't have the tools available to them at home, then at the office sort of thing. There's some things that, you know, are much more tightly controlled in terms of security, that you can get done, that you can have access to, say, in the office, that you couldn't remotely. So,
well, there's the, you know,
convenience. It's all those sorts of things.
You know, like when it comes to development, you know, you consider a lot of it has to do with this like collaboration and just talking with people, and you might have that conversation with somebody next to the water cooler that, you know, hey, you know, we need, you know, here's this mechanic that I think needs this rework, and then, you know, the right person might overhear it, and, you know, those kind of things just don't take place over Teams. You know, like that's a big thing to change and develop. You know, from there, it's also a, you know, they were taking that time, obviously, to develop a plan forward. You know, what can we realistically do? And, you know, as they got closer to the reality that was that the game wasn't ready, they turned around and said, hey, you know, we're not ready to go, and based on the community feedback, you know, based on what their players were saying, hey, we need to put this through more development. We need more time. And instead of releasing it, like, they could have released it. You know, I back in the day was like, just release it. Like, you know, play it as a live game. Like, it's below the normal price point anyways. Not.
Yeah.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go through every single class in Lost Ark, tell you a little bit about it, give you a good overview.
Sorry.
Alright. Sorry. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, I mean, and I know we're talking about New World here, but you know, like watching that raid back again one time, like, it's sort of funny because, like, I was thinking to myself, I think you might find this funny after watching that a few times, but the the capacity to attack that raid boss anything above basically hits his like knuckles, or it was not that much. So if anything, you could look at that particular raid boss as a particularly bad manicure that went disastrously wrong for that particular that particular raid boss.
Oh yeah.
See what I mean? It's like you're not hitting anything much above his ankle. Like,
yeah. There was another video that I had. See if I can find another one.
Drop more content showing the content that's like a higher level than this, because I'm currently in the low level of gear and there's so much more you can do, and I can definitely show off more classes too, because in this game it's going to be kind of useful to have.
We're gonna mute him, and we're borrowing other people's content and talking over it.
Oh, good.
It's gameplay and it's cool.
It's representative gameplay of what we'll probably find at Lost Ark.
Yes.
In Lost Ark when it comes over to Western markets. So I would consider that legit.
So what were we talking about before that? We're an hour.
We were just going through, like how NWO kind of developed, and like going through
yes,
the COVID phase. Sort of that's
so,
kind of where we got to.
You look at like CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red obviously needed more time for Cyberpunk. Like they needed another year, but they didn't have the money for another year. Like you've got your stocks and everything to deal with. That fundamentally just it wasn't going to happen.
It was an upper management sort of decision to basically go and release it at that particular point.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they felt. I kind of think that maybe they felt like they'd been hyping it up too much, especially with the whole Keanu thing. That they had to. They felt like they had to release it, otherwise the hype would die down. And then all of the effort that they put in typing it up would have been for naught. I feel very much in the frame of mind that you should only do that when you know that you should only go for the full on hype, over 9,000 level of hype. When you've made that executive decision that like it is up to spec, where we are at not just minimum viable product, but like we're at like we have a decent product that people will like and it's working well.
Yeah, our confidence level in launch is high.
Yeah, and then you start the max level hype, with Keanu or whoever, right?
Yeah,
but they
PvP that's going on.
Okay. Oh, nice. But yeah, that's how I kind of feel like the hype strategy should be. But CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk kind of they went a little too early. They went kind of way too early on the hype.
Yeah. Now, New World, on the other hand, has decided, hey, we don't want to release until it's ready. Like, sure, like there's this games as a service mentality where, when the game comes out, it's also going to continually receive updates and continually receive new patches and content and stuff like that. But beyond that, it's also going to have to hit a minimum expectation. And I think that the majority of the feedback coming off of Alpha 2 was that the game's just not ready, and it's time to look at what's next. And how long do we really need to get?
And the issue with live service games, because especially like MMO live service games, right, is when is when is it ready? Because obviously, if it's a live service game, you're constantly developing, maybe new features, definitely new content for the game. But you have to kind of make that decision as to, what constitutes a solid, a solid game at that particular point. So you can have the viable product there, and so that you have confidence in when you're actually releasing. Because it's like, because if you're constantly going like, oh, it's not quite ready yet because we've got this one little thing that we want to sneak in, and then like 2/3 the way through like getting everything ready and putting that in, you kind of go, oh, well, we've got this other little thing that like we really want to put in, and that delays it, and that, then the next thing delays it, and then the next thing's delays it, and it's like, it's this ongoing kind of thing. And I mean, you probably know this a little bit with playing Star Citizen recently. Like Star Citizen has like has had this issue with like, I mean, people talk about stretch goals. It's not really stretch goals, but it's just this creative bloat that happens, feature creep and creative bloat that like just happens. So you kind of need to make you need to, as a developer, kind of come to an agreement that of what constitutes the features and the amount of content for your initial release.
Exactly. And I think New World hit some of that, but at the same time they realized that, hey, when we pull the delay, we need to not just delay a little, we need to delay enough to really make substantial changes. And then they gave us the preview to basically show us, hey, here's why changes need to be made.
Yeah,
that dude
but it was also
and took it down with him.
Yeah, he totally did. But the other thing is, like, even though you might have like some really cool features coming, that didn't make the initial release, like it doesn't mean that you have to spend 6 months not telling people about it. Like you can literally release the game and just be like, this is what's going to be in the the next expansion. Like check this shit out, and then that hypes people up. Like not just for the initial release of the game, but like like right after initial release, it's like, oh, they maybe experience the game being like, this is really cool, and may, they might come to the end of certain bits of content fairly quickly. But if they know that there's something cool coming like fairly soon, because you're working on stuff that didn't make the release, but but as a developer, you want to have it in the game as soon as possible, then they have some cool stuff like straight away to look forward to.
All these abilities look freaking cool.
Pretty insane.
Now that brings us to launch day this year. We got the beta coming up July 20th, so we are about 1 month out. Then from there we've got the launch of the game August 31st. So there will be a delay, or there will be a kind of dead zone between the end of the alpha, the end of the and the start of the beta, as well as the end of the beta and the start of the game. There will be 2 kind of dead zones there of nobody playing the game other than devs, devs being heads down, let's get this ready for launch. Prepped for the craziness that's about to happen. So some interesting intricacies with New World's launch as well is that it's one of the few games out there that offers a beta experience for pre-order that you can return the game after playing it. So for instance, I've got 3K hours into this, but I'm also not. None of that time counts against the time playing the launched game in terms of Steam being willing to refund it. So that's kind of an interesting aspect to it. Different in a lot of ways, because like normally you would assume people would want some kind of word for this is, you would think that the company would be, hey, if they're going to play this at all, they should pay the money in, but effectively they're basically letting people try the game in beta and then cancel their pre-order if they don't like it.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty confident thing to do for a studio, and it's also like, for as much crap as people have given Amazon Games for having a cash shop and doing what the rest of the industry has done for the last 10 years, you know, literally letting people play the game for that long, and determine if it's something they actually like, instead of sticking to the Steam 2-hour type deal. Like,
Yeah.
I think more of that needs to happen.
No. It's fun. It's funny because he sort of starts to put me a little bit in mind of the old like demos that you used to be able to get. Like you get like a disc with like a, you know, say like a, you know, PC game or something like that for a whole bunch of demos. You can try different new games coming out.
I remember
You know,
back
and
in the
it's free.
day, you used to get
Completely
the
free,
CD
and you-
on top of the soda cup
Yeah.
at the movie
really?
theater. That was way back in the day. I'm dating myself here.
That is,
Like,
that is way back.
that was a very short-term thing, but you know, I remember when that was a thing. Or like, yeah, PC Gamer, you used to get you know, the demos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's I used to remember that, like, you know, loading your computer up with demos was probably the best of things to do, from keeping your keeping your system from you know, running optimally. But you know, at least you got to try these games, like, you know, try the game out for free, and a lot of games actually made a name for themselves before they even got released, just from the demos that, you know, people were able to sort of get their hands on. Like, I recall a few games getting like some serious hype out of almost nowhere because of like an amazing demo that they were able to put out.
Yes.
I'd have to go back and actually, you know, find the sort of the videos and stuff like that I kind of get that from. But yeah, it definitely was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think.
What the fuck is this guy's outfit? You know, you're in the end game when you've got, you know, a Teletubby on your team.
Yeah. Is he literally just, you know, role playing it so when they get to the end boss he can go, uh-oh? Like, literally.
Oh my god.
Teletubby go, uh-oh.
God, that's comical.
The other kind of aspect of that when talking was like just running through hordes of enemies and just like slaying all of them is like, it's very Eastern MMO sort of style.
Oh yeah.
Just, you know, once, you know, one epic sort of like a sliding swing of your sword and you just, like, you know, you murder up team hundreds of enemies like in one go. that it's that classic case of like a game or a developer sort of like giving you the perception that you're exceptionally powerful.
So this leads us into our segue to the last topic that we want to cover.
That was a horrible segue, man. Come on.
Yes, absolutely.
We gotta work on our segue game. Like,
I kind of want to go with the Linus Tech Tips version of segues and just admit that we're gonna be bad at them, and just accept that permanently.
Well, I think LTT has got to the point where they said that they were bad at it, but like they've become they've done it so often that they've actually started to become pretty good at it.
Yeah. So for those of you that are potentially new to the channel and stuff like that, we try and cover a lot of stuff. We try and cover tech news and other stuff, and we're starting to get into that more than just New World. A lot of that is so that we can be a source for you guys to get information, and if you feel that information is of value to us or value to you, then there are ways to support us. Below our channel, you can see a number of things. One of them is a affiliate link to Amazon. Tomorrow is Prime Day for Amazon, so there's going to be a ton of good deals. There's going to be some like flash deals and stuff like that happen that are going to be 78, 90% off certain things. Amazon devices are going to be a sizable discount. That's going to be worth considering, as well as a bunch of other things that are going to happen. Apparently, they're having a concert with Billie Eilish, her and Kid Cudi, which I haven't heard Kid Cudi since college. That'll be interesting to hear him again. They're providing some benefits on a bunch of other things. I took a look at some of the TVs. I think the TV deals are actually going to be pretty decent. So if you're looking to get potentially a large TV, this could be a route to go. There's a ton of different stuff on here. If you buy from a small business, starting even as soon as today or earlier, you can potentially get $10 to spend on Prime Day. So if you bought a $10 shirt from a small business on Amazon, they'll give you $10 to spend. They've done it. I bought a couple of t-shirts a couple days ago. Is there a forum or something to find a guild before launch? For New World, one of the best places to go would be New World fans, or on our Discord we actually have a company recruitment channel that has a lot of different ads for various different groups. Most of them are pretty good. I'll link the Discord here as well. Oops, if I spell it. There we go. Yeah, there. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. So the Discord is always a good place to go to get some of the New World type stuff.
We've got automatic feeds.
Different groups. We do have the automatic feeds on our Discord as well. So anytime there's a new video on
literally stuff, really.
Yes.
Like stuff, community content creator stuff specifically for New World, like it's there. We automatically post stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like tech related stuff, we generally tend to have we have a bunch of YouTube channels that have tech related stuff that get automatically fed into there as well. But obviously, when it comes to different guilds, we literally have where is it? company recruitment. That's one. Company recruitment ads. So there is a text channel there for that is, you know, quite full actually of all different companies that you know, are looking for recruitment that are specifically related to New World.
So basically, one of the reasons we're bringing this up is we are an Amazon affiliate. If you click the affiliate link below the channel, anything that you order, there's no additional price to it. Anything that you order, we get a small percentage for helping direct traffic to it. So that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this, and not for the money, but just, you know, one, I've been an Amazon Prime member for God knows how long. Like, I get my groceries delivered by Amazon. I get most of my shopping is through Amazon.
People that I found that people you'll always find that there are some people who have a tendency to, you know, badmouth Amazon in some way, shape, or form. Most likely they will do that, and then they'll be like, "Oh crap, I need this, that, or the other," or I'm running low on, like, I don't know, some degree of like toiletries, or I don't know, like you know, oh, maybe they need like some new bulbs or something like that, and the first thing that they do is they go to Amazon, they buy like something from Amazon, right? And it's kind of funny, the irony in that, like they badmouth Amazon and then they're the first people to literally go onto Amazon and buy stuff from them.
Yeah, I'm
Amazon
unapologetic in it. I see it as, you know, they've never done anything wrong to me in terms of, like, you know, from a business perspective. If anything, they've bent over backwards to make sure that packages get delivered, and when they get delivered to the wrong place, they'd never question anything. They'd turn around and say, "Hey, you know, our bad. We'll send you another one, or we'll refund you."
Yeah, half the time it's, if I'm ordering from something other than Amazon, like normally there's like some kind of shipping or delivery issue whatsoever, and like it's a pain in the ass to kind of get it sorted or solved, or you generally have to have a bad deal with it. Like
one of the other
Amazon
things to consider here. One of the other things to consider here is that there is going to be a connection between New World and Twitch. We don't know what that connection's going to be, but you can probably assume that Amazon being Amazon is going to make that connection some kind of like Prime drop. So Amazon Prime members, you know, would be a good opportunity to make sure your Prime subscriptions are renewed and that, you know, around the same time that the game comes out, so that if there's any kind of Twitch drops and stuff like that you can get them. We did a show on this the other day. There's a lot of potential with this Twitch connection, that you know, watching a Twitch, you know, person complete something could potentially give out skins and equipment. Skins for equipment, I should say. You know, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Based on I mean, it could be based on a bunch of things, like, you know, just watching a expedition complete kind of thing, maybe. So I think, what was it? I had something to talk about for a second there, but like I lost it. So just like forget me for a moment. I'll probably remember it in a bit. But yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of different stuff. There's a lot of different opportunities with the game.
I remember what it is now.
Fundamentally, or I'll let you go here. I don't know where I was.
So one of the things that were regarding the New World and Twitch kind of like connection, that internally at least, Ace and I were wondering about was, considering that this particular channel on Twitch is kind of like shared between me and Ace at this particular point. The connection can only, as far as we know, can only be made to one account, one New World account. So we're kind of like we were there sort of like wondering to ourselves, how are we going to deal with this? Like, if I'm streaming, but Ace is like at work, or that kind of thing. Am I connected to it, and can I connect to it if like Ace is already connected to it? Can you remove the connection and add a connection like consistently? Because in that case, that might work between you and me, Ace, because I can connect the channel to mine when I'm streaming, and then when I pass it to you, you can like, I'll remove myself and you can connect to it. But I don't think, as far as I can tell, especially how it's set up, that you can have two. You can't. I don't think you can have two accounts connected to a single channel, which might prove to be a little bit, but which I think is going to prove to be a bit of an awkward thing if you can't remove it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you've heard anything from Amazon about it. I should probably send a tweet to them or something like that about it.
We might have to figure out something creative for that one.
Yeah.
Might end up being something like hosting you on your channel and then hosting you.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how that's gonna work in all honesty. I think it probably was built under the assumption of a single person using it.
1-to-1, right?
And we're obviously a situation when it comes to that.
I mean, I don't think we're unique. Because I think Redbird and BDLG have the same might have the same issue, but we'll see. Yeah. But then again, I think they have their own individual channels as well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If there's a remove function, then that's at least a way that we can kind of sidestep the issue. And just so you know, if any of you are listening or watching through and are in either, I think, Europe or the UK, Prime Day is on.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Prime Day's coming up. There's all kinds of different stuff happening with New World. I think they're pretty obviously getting hyped for launch. I think that there is near zero chance of another delay. I think they know that it has to come out. I think they've given themselves enough time to fix anything. And we'll see how that goes. From there, I think Lost Ark is going to be a reasonably big success, provided Amazon makes some changes from the Korean model to the Western model. What do we recommend purchasing on Prime Day? I think probably the biggest thing is to re-up your Prime subscription.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have, I mean, if you're thinking about like grabbing like a Prime deal, like, and you don't have Prime, like, definitely, like, the amount of money that you'll probably save just from buying stuff from Amazon and like not having to pay to get it delivered in some way, shape, or form, will probably cover the cost of your Prime for easily within a year. At least that's what I found anyway. And with that, you get a whole bunch of additional stuff. You get to be able to watch Prime Video, which has a whole bunch of random stuff.
It's actually got a lot of really good stuff with Tom Clancy and like, I mean, it's got the whole
series. It's the whole series of Expanses is in there. And
I think
you also
Invincible
have things
is
like
on there as well.
Yeah, and you've got some sort of like not Marvel specifically, but you have some like interesting superhero stuff as well on that.
Oh yeah.
But the other kind of thing is like in terms of Twitch, you have a Prime sub that you can send to anybody that you wish. hint,
Exactly.
after maybe, but like, you know, you can send it. It doesn't cost you a thing. And the other kind of thing, and this is the reason why we're also sort of promoting this to some degree, is if you don't want to feel like you want to give us any money in any way, shape, or form, you know, like specifically from your wallet, you don't have to. Like, you know, if you just if you're going to be shopping on Amazon, like you can support us without having to give us any money whatsoever. Like you can just let Amazon do that for you.
Exactly.
And it doesn't cost you a single cent, a single penny, a single, you know, nothing. Like it doesn't cost you anything different.
Yep. All you
really
have
cool.
to
I
do
think that's
is
really
click the link below the channel where it says pre-order New World affiliate link. Click that and just shop Amazon normally. And anything for like the next 72 hours. You know, provided you don't click on another affiliate link between then and now, or
and you know what would be
us. So with no
you know what
additional
would be,
cost to anything, it just gives us a raw percentage.
and you know what would be amazing? It is like, and this is obviously completely subject to how you guys feel about this, but like, I know that, like, even knowing that I could use the affiliate links for this channel to you know, support the channel, even from my purchases, even I am guilty of completely forgetting about that and like shopping and not like realizing, oh, I could have just supported, you know, my own channel, like our own channel, if I'd have used the link. And so what I've done, and what probably, if you know, if you're comfortable out there with doing, but like, you know, you could take one of those affiliate links and just like bookmark it, or set it as like, maybe set it as your homepage or something like that. But like that just helps with just, you know, not having to remember to go, oh, right, I need to go here, there, and everywhere to find that affiliate link, in order to, you know, in order to support New World Order show. And that will just help in general.
So if you are looking for a gaming headset, the headset that I would suggest 100% of the time is my daily drivers. I physically have them in my hand right now. This is the Corsair Virtuoso. Fundamentally speaking, this is the best quality headset that I have ever owned. Corsair is not sponsoring us in any way for me to say this. I'm just saying this because this is legitimately a good headset. It is comfortable, it expands, the ear cups are comfortable, they're made out of great material to wear for long periods of time. The construction is out of metal, so it's lightweight, it's aluminum, so it's lightweight, but it's also durable. So you're not going to have things that just randomly break for no reason. You know, and if you're looking for one of these, I would 100% say that this is the one to do.
Ace.
Hmm?
They have an X570 AM4 for 27% off. I'll have to. I'm probably gonna have to price check that.
So in chat there's the affiliate link to the Corsair Virtual. Well, I would highly recommend this headset.
Yeah.
Like for those that don't know, or that don't see this, you know, in the Discord, I'm generally in there all day most days, and I wear that headset from roughly 9 in the morning, or 10 in the morning until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You know, I would wait to see if there's a deal for Prime Day on it, you know, because there very well could be, but it is, you know, I think $10 off right now as well. But
Gaming.
I would wait for
which one is
tomorrow
it?
to see for sure. The Corsair Virtuoso.
Corsair Virtuoso. Okay, let me just check. I mean, obviously, like, you know, the Prime Day deals are probably going to be a bit different depending on where you live, sort of thing. So, Like, you know, some of the deals that are available in Europe and the UK aren't probably going to be the same in the US and vice versa, right? So
You can also get
but
them in white. This is renewed, so this is a repaired headset, but you get it for cheaper.
HyperX
I've
Cranky
owned. What's
Cloud.
comical is I've owned a number of the headsets on this list. The Arctis 7s, garbage. The Black Shark V2, garbage. The Sony WH doesn't really have a microphone, so like, you know,
Corsair Virtuoso RGB wireless SE.
like at least it wasn't like it says it has a microphone, but
is
say it's a
out of interest, was it the Corsair Virtuoso RGB wireless SE?
yes.
Yeah. So at least like so. Consider that I'm from the UK, so I don't know whether these are gonna pop up in the US as well. But at least in the UK, you can get 16% off, so it's at 152 pounds at the moment, down from 170, 180.
So some of the other stuff that that like I would highly recommend. Like I can't move the camera because it's physically mounted, but K95 RGB keyboard, highly recommend that. Logitech G502 mouse, high enough, like highly recommend those. Those are my go-tos at least. And I'm reasonably sure that both of those will have some kind of sale.
I'm just looking through deals at the moment. Like I don't know if you want to like throw it to me in some way, shape, or form.
That $94 off. Am I reading that right?
What?
The Virtuoso link you just sent me?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I haven't done.
Yeah, yeah. So wait for Prime Day to hit, because like if the sale is anything like it is in Europe or England where McLeod is, then that headset, if you can get it for $90 less than what it cost me, 100%. It's 100% worth it for $200. But if you can get it for $90 off, then get it. Get it while you can, because that is a freaking great headset. I would compare it to back in the day. I had a Gamecom Commander from Plantronics. That was one of my favorite headsets, but it was wired. And I'm not a fan of wired headsets anymore. This is wireless. The battery life lasts a long time. The one thing that I wish that they would take, the Steel Series replaceable battery and turn that in, like take that concept and steal it. Then it would be the perfect headset.
Steal it.
Yeah, just straight up steal it. Like, replaceable batteries, not
it's you can't copyright that. Like that's just it's not a copyrightable thing.
There is no noticeable audio delay on the wireless headsets. You're within less than a megasecond or less than a millisecond response time. So they are as fast, if not as fast, as a wired headset.
Amlink is literally at 25% off. So that's like that'll probably be about $50 to $60. So
tomorrow we're probably going to do another stream after after I get out of the office, and we'll cover some of the stuff, and hopefully we'll see some of these sales. But I think, like, by and large, the big thing to do is going to be getting your Prime subscription, making sure that that's up to date, and then from there, like the headliner stuff that they're trying to sell already is the Amazon devices. Obviously, they make a ton of money on those things, but 50% off, Amazon Fire TV stick, 4K streaming, on a stick. Like, it's a pretty good deal, especially if you travel. $25 versus $50. The one that I want, I've actually thought about getting this one, the auto, but the one that I really want is it's the show that like follows you around when you're talking. So like I can walk around in the kitchen and chat with my parents, because we use the
I know what you
show
mean.
devices to, and like they don't seem to have it on the sale list here. This one, yeah. So like, we use these all the time, or we use the old version of this all the time. And what this does is it will identify you and follow you around as you move around, and that way it keeps the camera on. So, kind of a cool thing to have, or excessively creepy if you're not into having tech follow you around the house.
I was thinking about that. I was like, you're a little bit more sort of like chilled out with regards to like smart tech in the home kind of thing. Like I would feel a little bit disconcerted with tech literally following me around the house.
Yeah.
Or at least around the room anyway.
Or at least around the room, yeah. It doesn't actually like move off the counter or anything like that, but like
starts chasing you
like,
around.
So for those that don't know, I have most of my apartment is smart tech. I've gone through the painstaking effort of setting up a whole lot of automations and stuff like that, so I can do things like Echo, turn the office green. Ta-da.
Yay, there we go. Whereas I have to do it via an app on my phone.
Yeah. So, like I've got an LED strip that goes around the ceiling. I've got the two hue lights behind me. The two lights behind the computer are on smart things as well. All of the lights across the entire apartment are all on smart switches. So if you ever have any questions about home automation and stuff like that, we've got stuff in our tech news and updates channel that talks about home automation, but we've also got people in the community that maybe you want to get the smart things device that detects whether your laundry is actually dry or not. That's one of the devices I'm currently in the process of testing. And from what I've found out already is that my clothes are generally dry about 10 minutes before the dryer turns off. And the device will send your phone a notification saying, hey, your clothes have actually hit the dryness level that you expect them to be, and it's done, so you can just take your clothes out early and not spend the extra money on the electricity. That kind of home automation is something that I really like because it saves me money, and it saves me a lot of effort. It also reminds me to do my laundry. Is important.
Nice.
And I mean, like, there's other stuff as well. Like, I've got my TVs set up with one of them's got the Shield, NVIDIA Shield on it, which is basically a device to make a dumb TV smart. And it's got all kinds of apps and games and stuff like that. I've actually got one of the Amazon cameras pointed at my front door, so that if I need to come and go from the apartment, if somebody comes into the apartment, they're on camera and it's recorded. additionally, I've got smart locks and stuff like that, so if I need to let somebody into my apartment, I can open it up remotely. I had an instance where I was down in Louisville and, 1,000 miles away from where I live, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, hey, I gotta let somebody in. Unlock the door for him, watched him walk in on the camera, watched him walk out a minute later. Nice, quick, simple, and then as they left, locked the door, and it's that kind of thing where it's like, it's cool stuff to have. Oftentimes you sit there and think, why would I ever need
that? Yeah.
But for the one time that you need to let somebody in, having a smart lock is really convenient. Having home security cameras is an important thing. I know I'm droning on about a bunch of like really odd things that have nothing to do with most of this, but I really think that these things make life better for you. My LED strips in here are actually set for my work schedule. So during the day they're white, and when I hit 4:30, they turn green, telling me that, hey, it's time to call it a day. You're done with work. So if I'm working from home, it turns green. I know, hey, I'm not in a position where I'm getting overtime, so call it. Come back tomorrow.
I just found a ridiculous monitor, by the way, that has a 28% reduction, and I think in US dollars it's going to look fucking fantastic in terms of savings. It's a 1440p 120 hertz monitor, by the way, from Samsung.
Yeah. Deals start at midnight tonight, so you guys are up at midnight. Generally, they'll go through and they'll do things like flash sales, where they'll have something up for a limited time at an extreme discount, just to keep people interested, keep them on the site. And, generally, they're actually really good deals, so it's worth looking at them. In the past, they've also done giveaways. So monitor those and make sure to take a look at stuff that you can potentially get for free. And oftentimes, if you don't win the giveaway, they'll give you a discount on the item anyways. So that's another route to consider.
Yep.
But yeah. 4 months free of Amazon Music.
Did you take a look at that monitor bubble?
No.
It's in show chat.
Holy crap.
I know. I was like, what the fuck? That's like ridiculous.
This is on the UK
nice
version here.
Yeah.
So it is 20
it's an
bucks
ultra
off,
wide
30
monitor.
bucks off.
It's an ultra wide monitor. Huh?
I can only buy that one used. Didn't even give me a buy new
really?
option.
Okay, hang on. Let me just let me find it again.
That might just be because I'm in the US.
Yeah, so at least in the UK, let me see if I can jump onto currency converter.
You guys can also see my shopping habits. Apparently books. So I'm going to caveat this. Books I might like. For the record, I bought a whole bunch of books for a classroom for a friend, because like when they went remote, they had a classroom generally only has like 15, 20 books. They were like, oh no, like how are we gonna get books to people and have like enough time for like to disinfect the books in between people? And I bought like $60 worth of kids books, So like, I get all kinds of stuff like this. Like,
Yeah.
if you got kids, apparently these are the good books to get. Like, thought. But like, you can see my browsing history is, you know, flight sticks and power,
Weird.
you know, power supplies and a Star
So,
Trek USS Defiant T-shirt.
Okay, so um, some context regarding that particular Samsung monitor, right? That's at the moment at least converted in at least on the Prime deal that I see in US dollars is just a shade under 1,100 US dollars. But you know, the saving of that is like 420 US dollars. Which is quite a nice chunk taken off that. And it's it's a nice monitor, dude. Like, you know, it's an ultra wide 120 hertz 1440p monitor. It's like 5100 by 1440 or 5120 by 1440. So it's like 3 displays. It's like, oh no, probably 2 displays. There's 2 displays in one, basically. Which is, I mean, that's pretty fucking amazing. What you up to?
Trying to find something on the other screen.
Oh, okay.
The if anybody's looking for RGB, I have, you know, a lot. Oftentimes people pay way too much for this, so like this is something that like I genuinely would suggest. This is what I have encircling the top part of this room. Is these strips. I also have, you know, another 4 of them in my living room, and stuff like that. So like, you know, it's really kind of a cool way to do things. I like them. I think they work really well. You know, if you know how to use RGB strips, they're great. They're also like $60 less for the same amount of ability that the Hue light strips have. And yeah, you know, it's 16 feet worth of RGB, like, good setup. You know, so I would suggest the Treat Life version of RGB. I don't know why I said LG. One of them days, man.
Yeah. I'm just going through like the lightning deals real quick, just to see what the hell's on there. And it's I mean, you know, it's Amazon, so it's literally like anything. So you know, there's, you know, from like dog seat covers to like retainer cleaning tablets to like, you know, actual 10-inch like Android tablets to golf balls or tennis balls to like printer filament cartridges. Like, it's just anything and everything that you could think of. Like, but I'm just kind of like having a little nosy around, seeing what the lightning deals are. But yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's great. This,
For
I mean,
for the individual that
yeah.
PM'd me on Discord, the thing that's in my cart is a Dunder Mifflin t-shirt. So, for those that are curious, that's what this is.
That's
over
what that
here.
was.
Um,
That's what that was. You can get a gaming RGB mouse mat for like £12, 20% off. Something. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, either way.
it
I've
looks
just-
like hard drives
just
are on
randomly
sale
looking
right
through.
now as well.
Yeah, there are a few hard drives. There's not really that much internal hard drives. There's some NVMe drives though, from Western Digital Black, which looked to be pretty good. Western Digital Blue 2 terabyte internal M.2. You know how much it doesn't say how much it's off.
Apparently, Amazon thinks I own a pool.
Where did they get that idea from?
Right?
Like you hear
you can
about
definitely
these,
tell that they know that I stream and stuff like that, because like everything is computer related. Microphones.
Yeah, so there's some internal NVMe drives, and like there's a M.2 here for 500 gigabyte, M.2 33% off. I mean, the other thing is, you know, as we kind of say, like, you know, there will be deals, there'll be interesting deals. I would say that, like, also, you know, price check these deals just to make sure, just to make sure that, like, you're not like, you know, that someone isn't like ramping up the price and then ramping down the price and going like, check out, like, you know, this is like 16% off, when in actual fact they increased the price by 16% and then reduced it. So just do your little price checking just in case.
Amazon's assuming
yeah.
we're gonna do a swimsuit stream. I don't know about you guys, but like I might look pretty fit from like the video that you see of me, but trust me, I'm
You don't
not
want-
that.
you don't want
want to
that.
see this in a swimsuit. Like, to answer the question in chat, if you're East Coast, you think playing on a West Coast server will have too much lag? No, I don't. And the reason that I don't think that will be the case is that McLeod here has been playing on an East Coast server from London, and effectively has not had a problem.
It's an okay experience. It's not the most amazing experience, like, especially when it comes to PvP, but like it's doable. Like, you know, you have a little bit of you know, a little bit of delay, but like you can work through that. Like you can get past that. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're in LA, right, and you're trying to play on the, you know, the Australia server, the you know, Oceanic servers, expect it to not be a great experience. But you know, if your ping is like 100 milliseconds or sort of around there, maybe 120 or so, like it should be fine. Like it should be completely fine.
All right. So we've been going for about 2 hours. If you guys have any questions, you want our opinion on any kind of tech or anything, you know, over the next couple of days when it comes to Prime Day deals and stuff like that, you know, feel free to hop on the Discord. We're going to be in the Discord immediately after the show here.
Yeah. We might even. Ace, do you want to, like, I mean, it might be a bit of work for you, but do you want to, like, maybe make a separate channel specifically for the deals, or do you just want to, like, should we just like chuck it into general chat and stuff?
I don't know. We'll probably make a channel for Prime Day deals that people find that are, you know, excessively good.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's a great way to my mind's going here because it's 12:30, but it's a great way to support us without having to pay anything, which is fantastic. Just using the affiliate like links, it helps us out a lot, and you know, it doesn't cost you a thing, which is fantastic. So yeah, like I know personally, I'm looking for PC equipment stuff, so I'm going to be purchasing stuff via affiliate links for PC stuff. You know, I mentioned, oh my god, look, there's a AM4 X570 board that they have available, like it's 27% off. I'm literally looking at that going like, that's mine. I'm having that. Right? You know, unless there's something a little bit more interesting, you know, but it's X570, dude. Like,
did we already talk about New World? We did.
We did.
We
yeah,
can
we did.
quick recap that actually.
Yeah. Why not?
So,
Cool. I mean,
so
quick
some
recap?
of the big things.
Yeah.
Some of the big things. There were 2 videos that launched this week. One was the Chapter 1, which I think is going to be a good a good start to a series.
Yeah, although it's not like actual in-game gameplay footage, it's kind of like lore based, so it has some really cool kind of it's good visuals, and it's a good kind of like hype sort of thing.
And then there was the Eden Grove video, touring Eternum Eden Grove, which is also pretty awesome. From there, we talked about the New World team is expanding still. They have a lot of different positions that they're hiring, including one that works with my favorite team, the Creator Relations Coordinator, which this means you're going to be working with, I'm just gonna say he goes by Greg, anyways, on his Twitter handle, and he goes by Greg in his videos for when he's on the Amazon videos. The community team is just an awesome group to work with. I have, over the last few years, gotten to know several of them. They are some of the coolest people that I think that I know, and they have a really cool background. So, if anybody is looking to join, the Amazon Games team, there are positions out there. There are positions like this that are incredibly cool. I think they were hiring a community manager a little while ago.
Interestingly enough,
for a monetization team, I don't believe so. I know the individual who sits in that seat. So, and I'm not going to dox him. So, but I don't believe that they're hiring specifically for monetization. I'm pretty confident in the individuals that have those particular levers. That they're not going to do the wrong thing with them.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like, they haven't. See, the thing is, they haven't made a bunch of developers there redundant in any way, shape, or form. They haven't removed people and are rehiring, new people. Like, they're adding new people to the team. They're adding new people like above and beyond that, which basically means that, like, they're gearing up even more so for supporting, games that are coming out fairly soon, like Amazon and the Western release of help me out here. He's watching a minute ago.
I don't know where you're going with that. Sorry, I was looking at something else.
The Western re-release game that they're coming out with.
Lost Ark.
I thought it was Lost. Yeah, Lost Ark.
Yep.
So they're clearly sort of like ramping up to sort of support it, both technically, from an infrastructure standpoint as well, but around the world as well, because there's positions there in like Japan and all sorts of different places, right? So both from an AWS sort of standpoint, from an Amazon game standpoint, from a Twitch sort of standpoint, all that kind of stuff, right? They're clearly ramping up to support, to help support and further develop all of their products and all of their services. So, it looks good. It's looking good.
So here's a position that would work in finance within Amazon Game Studio. Are you guys going to create a company on release? Yes. So the company that we'll be running is the 9th Legion. Named after the 9th Legion for Rome, which went missing. So oddly fitting, and probably something that will likely come up in New World lore at some point in time. Anybody who's interested in joining, like, we don't really have a interview process or anything like that. Just make yourself known on the Discord, and we'll bring you in.
Be sure to write a 10-page thesis of the meaning of the word "the."
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the comical.
That particular comic. It was a reference to a comic about EVE Online recruitment and how EVE Online recruitment is particularly harsh and involving. It's essentially, most other MMOs. Hey, I like stabbing stuff. Do you like stabbing stuff too? Yeah. Let's go stab stuff together. Great, And then there's this like, fucking EVE Online recruitment where it's like this guy's basically saying like, basically
blood
almost
samples,
almost
criminal
torture.
background check, and then if you pass the criminal background check, we're gonna need a psychological evaluation.
Well, as long as you pass that, then we're gonna submerge you into a vat of like butter or something like that for 48 hours while listening to pounding techno music. And if you're not crazy by the end of that, then welcome to the team. It's like the fuck.
No, then we'll put your name on a list for an interview.
Oh right, yeah, that's yeah. Then you go on the shortlist for the interview. Like, Jesus.
So in terms of faction, we're gonna go with Covenant.
Yeah, and we're gonna go with the hey, you like stabbing things? We like stabbing things too. Welcome aboard. Like,
our goal is to also kind of spread out from the rest of the alpha community. And we're gonna aim for probably not the super high population craziness servers. We might move to kind of a mid pop,
mid to high pop,
mid to high pop, but there are certain groups that we may or may not play with, depending on how things turn out. And yeah, so
the idea is to have a good time.
yes.
That's the thing.
The idea is to have a good time, make sure that we're having a good time, and as long as we're having a good time, that is all I want. So, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask them in Discord. We're going to wrap up on the show for the day. We'll be in the chat channel shortly after it wraps up. So, again, thank you all, and we will see you in the new world.
Yeah.